Welcome back to the Weekend Chat. Episode 3 is here. And today I'm sitting down with a guy you've definitely seen across your feed, NFL Mike. We talk about his beginnings, what inspired him to start content creation, and the role his faith has played along the way. From Christianity to the grind of content creation, to his love about the NFL, Mike opens up about it all. And trust me, you're gonna walk away with more than just football takes from this one. So without further ado, let's dive into my conversation with NFL Mike. Alrighty, thank you for joining in on today's episode, and I could not be more happy about today's guest, which is NFL Mike. NFL Mike, you have 27,000 on Insta, 21K on YouTube, and 214,000 followers on TikTok. NFL Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and I want to give a shout out real quick to my Facebook followers. All you oldsters, all you grandmas and grandpas out there on Facebook. 20,000 on Facebook as well. Hey, NFL Mike across the internet.
That's right. We didn't forget about you, Facebook. I may have for a second, but NFL Mike, he does not. That is incredible. How you doing, man? I'm so glad to have you on here.
I'm doing good. It's a beautiful Monday morning. Right before we came on, well, for one, all of my equipment stopped working, so I had some issues with that. But while that was happening at the same time, the Steelers, I don't know if you noticed, they basically just said, we'll take half the Dolphins team.
Bro,
send them all.
For Minka Fitzpatrick, some picks.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's wild to me. Getting rid of Minka, I mean...
Well, you saw Jonnu Smith's in the deal too, right?
Yeah, well, I didn't know if that was like, because it kind of came
it might be separate.
Yeah.
But,
I didn't know. But yeah, man, that trade is absolutely crazy. In my opinion, and we can kind of talk about this later, but my opinion, what are the Steelers doing? I don't know if I like Ramsey going over there for Minka. But then again, we can talk about it a little bit more here in a little bit. But yeah, crazy trade. That being said, I want to kind of get into it, let's just get right into the meat of this episode. All right, so... First of all, introduce yourself, and obviously, I want to get to one of the first things that a lot of people, they probably know about you if they've been following you. Maybe they don't, but you were also in the military. So introduce yourself, but also what made you want to go into the military?
Yeah, so I was in the Navy for 4 years. I served my time, and then got out immediately. But really, the reason that I went into the military, when I was in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was playing football, but I hadn't really hit my growth spurt yet, so I didn't really get any kind of serious offers or serious playing time as a high school football player. I was like a slot corner / safety, so I would get in the rotation because of the position, but I wasn't really a superstar player. I was 5'5", 140 pounds. I don't know, just I wasn't built for football in high school, but I had all of the dreams and aspirations of being a football player, I guess. And I was putting in the work and taking the protein and creatine and trying to become a football player. But I really just didn't get there. It just came a point in my senior year in high school where I decided I had to make a decision. Am I going to go and try and play community college and probably get cut? Because the coaches are straight up telling me that I'm probably going to get cut from the team before I even apply to the college.
Wow.
You're probably not going to make it. This is community college, my local community college. Shout out to people who are from the area, Azusa Pacific. So this is not this is some high level football. So at that point, I didn't really know what I wanted to do career wise. I always have been kind of special in a sense that even as a kid, I would think long term. Even as a kid, I wanted to do something substantial with my life. I always had this drive within me that I wasn't just going to sit on my hands and do what everyone else does. And my dad was a cable guy, so I watched him get up for 30 years and go and do cable every day for minimum wage pretty much, and I just wasn't gonna jump into that system. So even then as a kid, I knew college wasn't for me. I did not want to go into debt, for one, because of all these ideas I already had that I knew that was going to trap me in certain situations, and then for two, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I honestly didn't know what I liked other than sports. There's no football major. I mean, I could have went into sports management or a typical thing. But again, I wasn't even sure if that's really what I wanted to do. So I joined the Navy. I actually joined the Navy to become a photographer.
Wow.
And then in my process of going through joining, I ended up becoming a sonar technician, which is a guy that hunts and tries to track down submarines all day and go to submarine warfare. So completely different than when I joined the military before. I didn't join for the job though. I joined because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I needed to throw myself out there and get some experience in life, and college just definitely wasn't it unless I was playing football. I already knew that as a kid.
Yeah. That's incredible. Yeah. So when you were in the Navy, okay, you're telling me what life was like before military, as in, kind of. So what happened when you got out? Were you doing NFL mic in the Navy, or was that after the Navy?
Yeah, it's actually kind of like crazy. Like I actually started content probably before the Navy, if you're being technical. I mean, if you go all the way back to, it's crazy because like everything seems so connected when you look at it, and now that I do it full time, now that it's kind of become like my entire life. But back then, even as like a kid, I was really into what was exploding at the time, an app that everyone knows, YouTube. And at the time it wasn't as big a deal, but this one content creator that I would watch religiously every day. I'll be begging my parents for his merchandise. I have pictures of me with his merchandise as a little kid. I hope I get to meet him one day. His name was Roman Atwood. A lot of people know him. Some people do, some people don't. But this guy is the reason that I believe that content creators even exist.
Wow.
Because back then he inspired me to start my own YouTube channel about our lunchtime football games. It was called the Blacktop Football League. I was the commissioner slash referee slash cameraman slash producer slash commentator.
Yes, sir.
And I would put it all together.
Yeah.
These videos are still out on the internet today. If you guys want to go look for them, I recorded them on like a little iPod Touch, and it's so terrible.
Wow.
My voice is so squeaky and high because I'm 13. There's videos of me like footballs, one-handed catches on the blacktop and stuff too. So that's also part of it. But like that's where my content journey really started. I started making YouTube videos about this league kind of because of Roman Atwood. And in my mind, I was like, we all love this league. We've loved this league as kids for 5 years. Why wouldn't everyone want to see the league? But then I started making like Photoshop sports posters and stuff. And I had an Instagram page when I was like 17 that grew to like 10,000 followers actually. And it actually got kind of big. I was making Chargers posters mostly, but I would make a lot of different posters too, based off of whatever would inspire me. And then that's when I joined the military, took a break from content. But when I came back and I had already seen everything that was going on, seen other people blowing up, seen what Pat McAfee did, seen what other content creators in other niche are doing, I knew that I was going to at least do a podcast for fun at very minimum already. So like I already was picking out co-hosts while I was in Washington getting separated from the Navy. I was already trying to talk to my cousins, talk to my friends, who wants to do this, who else is interested in this. And I eventually found a cousin that wanted to do it. So we started our first podcast. It was called the Come On Man Sports Podcast. And from there it took off. He dropped out eventually. He didn't really like have the same drive as me. And then when people started like commenting hate comments, it started to bother him a little bit more. But he dropped out, and then I just kept going. And that's when it became NFL Mike on the mic, and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of like the whole journey. It actually started, honestly, as a kid.
Yeah.
As like a little kid, Roman Atwood, just watching that dude blow stuff up in his backyard. But really, it was the way he lived his life.
Okay.
Like, it was like he's living his life, and then like from what he does, the fun stuff, he's getting financial gain from it. Wow. And then he's putting that right back into his life again, the same financial gain that he just got. And it's like a give and take, and it just kept going and going and going until eventually, Roman Atwood got to where he got. A lot of people know who he is.
Yeah. So what got you, would you say, so you get out of the military, and what was it like mentally? I guess you always had it as a child, but like what got you over the hump to be like, I can actually do this. I know I can, even though I'm not there yet, but I know I can if I stick to it. What got you over that hump of like, let me just start it and get, because obviously you had to take a break while you're in the military. So you come out of the military, and what was that got you over the hump of like, I can do this too? Like all these other people, they put their pants on the same way I do. I can do this.
Yeah, I think, well, for one, I already had a little bit of success in social media. So I had a taste of like it being possible. That's another thing, is like just looking back at it, like none of my family believed in me. Everyone wanted me to stay in the military. None of my friends believed in me. I was raising in rank really fast. For people that know, obviously, I was an E5 in 4 years, and I started as an 18-year-old E1. So put that in perspective. That's not very easy to do. I had to pass every test on the first try with excellent fitness scores and all of that. So
absolutely. And for those
I kind of like realized, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, for those who don't know, I was in the Marines, and typically, you get that first rank just by joining the military, just by getting through boot camp. And then the next two, at least in the Marines, of course, I know, are just given. So you get the Lance Corporal. It's a given rank. Okay, I lied. You get private, and then PFT is given, and then the next one is Lance Corporal. So those three are all just timed, like, You didn't earn it. But the
Yeah.
next two after that, you got to earn, and typically takes like, once you get Lance Corporal, it's typically going to take 1 to 2 years to get the E4. Then it's going to take another 1 to 2 years to get to E5. So you doing all that in less than 4 years, for those who don't know, is like not normal. Like that's already pretty crazy.
Yeah. I had a little bit of advantage with my rate and stuff. I had a top secret clearance and all that kind of thing. So they push us along a little bit more, but it's not easy still. There's a lot of my peers that got in the Navy at the same time as me that are the same rank that I got out at 5 years ago. But yeah, so I was kind of getting a lot of pressure from everyone to stay in. There was also a $75,000 signing bonus on the table.
Man.
All this stuff was there, and I still walked away from it because I just it goes back to the Roman Atwood thing. Like I just knew that this was here, that there was something there that was bigger for me. I didn't necessarily know it was going to be content creation. I thought maybe I might start a business. Maybe I might start doing this. I actually, when I got out and I was on my GI Bill at first, I was going to school to be a vet. I was going to be an animal doctor, a vet that was a vet.
Yeah. So
it was completely off the wall. I wasn't planning on it at all. I just wanted to do the podcast for fun. And then once it started to just build like on a little bit of success, like even just, just small baby steps where people are starting to like our content. Like there's just something in me. It's always been there. It was the same with the military. It was the same in high school with like fish tanks or collecting NASCARs or, wrestling, whatever it might be. When I go in on something, and I can thank my dad for this, maybe, because it's the way he is too. I just go all in. I've always been like that. I don't go half in. If I get it's like a drop of blood in the water of success, and I'm ready to go to the freaking moon with it. So I think that that's always kind of been the way that I am. I have a self-belief that this was going to work out. And in the military, it really felt like, especially in boot camp, you develop it's like a laser focus. I tell my wife all the time, and I was telling her when I was getting out too, it's like a laser pointer. It's like they teach you how to direct your focus in one direction and just be able to, almost like a robot, go and go and go. And there's no stopping. And it doesn't matter how tired you get, how hungry you get. It does not matter. You're just going to keep going because that's what you're assigned to do. And there's just something in you that they install. I think it's during boot camp, but maybe it's throughout the whole experience.
I think so, yeah.
That you can turn that off that people can't turn off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I always mess with my wife all the time when we get really cold. And she's like, what are you doing? It's like you're not cold. And I'm like, yeah, I can turn that stuff off in my brain a little bit. I can kind of go into robot mode still. And I can do that with my work. And I basically had this theory coming out of the military that if I point that kind of focus, 10, 12, 16-hour day focus at anything I want, it's going to work. And so far, with the podcast, I'm 1 for 1. And if something happens and this whole thing comes burning down, I'm going to point that laser at something else and it's going to work again. That's kind of my theory in life, honestly, is I just try to go at everything with that kind of determination, especially things that I love. And it all works out from there. It really does.
Yeah, and I heard one time before that, you can always go back and get another job. Like if worst case scenario, it doesn't work out, everything crumbles, that job's always going to be there, right? Like you can always go work for somebody else, but why not go all in for what it is that you actually, love and think could work? And something you said about the military that I think is a good point is, when I got through boot camp, and I was kind of like you, I never really hit that growth spurt in high school to kind of further any other athletic endeavors I had. So when I got into the military, when I got through boot camp, like mentally at the end of it, I was like, man, like what I didn't know 3 months ago I could get through and what I now know I can get through. It's like, why can't I do blank? Why can't I do blank? Now I know. Like mentally, I didn't know before this. But now I know it is all mental. Like, if you can just mentally get through it, you're good. Because the body's going to break down, right? But as long as you keep telling it to keep going, it's going to keep going. I mean, obviously, there will be a point it physically can't anymore. But most of the time, it's mental, right? And that applies to so many things. And I kind of want to ask you, so you say you saw a little bit of success. When, though, specifically, do you think you could go back and point to where it was like, okay, this now, like whether it's revenue, whether it's sponsorships, whether it's however it is that you got to where you are now, this now is actually can be and is about to become my full-time gig?
You want me to be honest with you? I probably didn't really decide that this was going to be like my lifetime thing that I want to do until like 6 months ago or a year ago.
Wow.
And that's crazy to believe because I was already making 100,000 a year at that point. But
Mm.
I yeah, it's interesting because, like I said, it was more than just all those things about myself too. My grandpa served in the military. My great grandpa served in the military. My great 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 grandfather. I want ancestry.com. My 15th grandfather served in the Revolutionary War that
Wow.
separated America from Britain. So
Wow.
there's also something there to where I feel like I'm paying my dues, that my
Mm.
previous grandfathers paid before me, and then also for my kids and for their kids and for the future. So that was also kind of like a big driver for me to go ahead and do it. And in a way, like going into content creation and using guest a gift of talent, whatever you want to call this, I think it's just a work. Honestly, I think it's the work ethic. I feel
Mm.
like if I go into anything, if I want to become a plumber right now, I'm going to become a top 1% elite plumber in the next 5 years. I really feel that way. But if it's a talent, whatever you want to say, I always struggled with the grip that this is what I'm using it for. To make just silly football videos, to do this. Like, why don't I do something more substantial? Why don't I go for something bigger? So really, like a year ago, I started to kind of realize what I'm doing even has meaning in the
Right.
first place.
Right.
And I had some existential crises, even mental health issues dealing with this. Like, this all is good.
Mm.
All of it looks good.
Mm.
I'm going for 100 plus million views a year at this
Mm.
point. 10 million views on certain months, but it didn't feel like I was doing it for a reason. You know what I mean? Other than for selfish reasons.
Right.
So I think really in the last year, I've started to pivot and realize that, for one, it's okay for me, myself, to do things for myself. And then for two, like, bringing joy to the world does have value.
Yes.
And I just started to realize my videos bring a certain amount of entertainment. They bring a certain amount of something to the algorithm, to people's daily football experience.
Mm.
And as a kid, there's even letters that I would write, love letters, before I met my wife, to football.
Mm.
And I found some of these love letters I would write to football, Kobe Bryant-esque. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, and I found some of these letters where I was promising that even if I wasn't a player, I'm going to find a way as a kid. Like, there's going to be a way. I'm going to be in this sport. Like, I'm going to give back. I'm going to inspire kids to go towards this sport.
Mm.
I don't know. I'm getting chills talking about it right now with you, that it's all connected. It all is. It's weird. It's made me religious. I was not religious until like 25 years old. You know what I mean? Like, this kind of stuff has made me religious. This is how powerful it's been.
Wow. And when you say religious, what exactly do you mean by that?
I'm technically Christian, but I'm not like typically Christian, not to go too deep into it.
Right.
But I spent most of my life very agnostic.
Mm.
My parents are not religious at all. I didn't set foot into a church until I took myself to one. So it was an interesting experience for me because I think my parents are the type to just go, yeah, we believe God exists, basically.
Right.
And as someone that's kind of gone deeper and deeper and deeper in everything that I think about, I just can't do it at that surface level. I wasn't able to before.
Yes.
So I actually had some real life experiences that pushed me down that road. My wife is a true Christian from the day she was born. Her dad's a pastor and stuff, so they helped as well. But it's still a developing thing with me.
Absolutely. Yeah,
but
yeah.
It really was some breakthroughs through this content journey in that same time frame that I decided that this is going to be what I want to do forever, or some type of media eventually, even if this doesn't work out. There was some experiences, to not go into too much detail, that kind of like made me realize, like, no matter what I think, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't need to make sense, unfortunately, for my, that's the whole point. Proverbs 3:5.
Yes.
That's the whole point.
And shout out to Proverbs. There's a book a day, or a chapter for every day, right? Like, there's 31 chapters, so you could, if nothing else, just read a Proverbs for that day, right? So
yeah,
Christ is risen. Absolutely, amen to that. So I want to kind of transition back here to the content stuff. So what do you think is the secret sauce? And I know you kind of alluded to it a little bit, but some people are going to look at you and say this was an overnight. Like, some people don't realize the grind, but a lot of people are going to look at the numbers, the 200K here, the 20K here, this. Was there a secret sauce for you, or was it truly just I grinded out and I didn't stop?
I mean, in the beginning, I would say the secret sauce is grinding out, and it's not necessarily just the fact that you're grinding or you're working hard or you're trying hard. It's not really necessarily that's the fact. It's really reps. You need to get good at it. This is a skill that I developed. It is not something that is easy. There's still things that I learn daily. There's still things I learn from content creators, things I can learn from you that we'll talk about off camera, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I would say the biggest thing is a lot of people get analysis paralysis. Even my own wife. I've been trying to push her to start her own coffee business. She loves wrestling too. She's a crazy wrestling fan. Like women
WWE?
aren't usually, yeah, they aren't
Hey,
usually
let's
wrestling
go.
fans. So this is something unique that you could probably cash in on if you just start
Right.
videoing your reactions and stuff, similar to the way I do football. But she just doesn't have like the same like
Mm,
proof of success that I have. So
right.
to her, you post a video and it doesn't do well. There is nothing. There is no 10, 100,000 view videos to go, okay, well, the next video is probably going to do great.
Right.
I've already worked through that pain, and most people don't get through that. They quit before that,
Yeah.
long before that.
Yeah.
So I would say the best one is to just kind of like to get over that hump of realizing that you're going to suck at something when you first start. And anything that you're good at, you're going to suck. You sucked at on day one. You weren't good at. So I would say that that's the biggest thing is a lot of people, they don't want to jump in the pool, and that's in life too. Jump in the pool of life, to sink or swim world. You're either going to sink or you're going to swim. So you better start learning how to swim. You can't learn how to swim on the land.
Right.
It's not possible. So that's kind of the analogy I would use. I think another hack that I would say that's more technical, that's actually like content advice. People don't realize this. People aren't focusing on this. What will skip you years of trial and error is to understand that it's all on the hook. It's all on the hook. It's all on the hook.
There you go. It's all on the hook.
It's all on the hook.
Hey, listen, and a quote that I really like, and this comes from Jim Carrey, and maybe you've heard it before. He was given a speech about about his father and how his dad was actually pretty funny, but he didn't believe that, comedy was a route that he was going to be able to go down and support his family, so he just got a job. Can't remember what the job is, but the point of the story is eventually he got fired from that job. And what Jim Carrey goes on to say is that he learned many things from his father, the least of which is you can be fired from a thing you don't enjoy, so you might as well go all in on the things you do enjoy. And I agree with that of obviously, right, like let's say you got a house payment or you've got a rent that you got to pay, right? That doesn't mean tomorrow go quit your job and go all in on content creation. You got to be smart or whatever it is, right? Let's say you're a writer or an artist or whatever it is. Be smart about it. You got to grind on the side, right? But I agree with what you're saying that, learning and not just like, oh, I'm doing it every day, therefore it's got to work, right? Like you got to learn. Mm-hmm. And I think something Mr. Beast once said was like, just try to focus on getting one thing better every time. One thing better every time.
Yeah, so that's a good idea right there, Bo. That's a good tip. That Jim Carrey quote's interesting because my dad took the other route. This dude had a talent for baseball. He was really into sports too. And he coached football and softball and baseball throughout the entire time that he's working as a cable guy. Now that I'm an adult, I'm pushing him. And I keep trying to convince him, like, Dad, you have the God's list of clients at this point. You are 20 years into this.
Yeah.
Like, start a small business. Tell your clients, I'm going to charge you almost nothing. We're starting my business. That's basically what we're doing here. Like, why aren't you starting something so that way when you retire that you can go with this? Because the whole plan was I'm going to work for this company for 30 years. And you know what? We'll shout out the company since they did this to him. Verizon turned into Spectrum, and they fired him at year 27 before he got there.
Wow.
So that's the lesson right there. Also, another thing is like just seeing my wife, like she's at work right now, work for her boss. Her boss does not give a shit about her. And you could tell. And it's when you could tell when your boss doesn't care about you. You go about things differently because of that. But just imagine you're your boss. You're never gonna have to deal with that again if you can crack this code and you can get there. And it is good to do it alongside. I know everyone doesn't have the same opportunity that I had where I went from full speed, 18-hour days, 16-hour days to zero. Now, what do I do with all my time? But if you just be honest with yourself, how much time you have now, and you map that out over a week, over a month, over a year, you have plenty of time to do something, to take baby steps towards it. And like you're saying, once you hit 10,000, once you hit 15,000, once you hit 100,000 followers, once you hit 200,000 followers, once you start to feel like you can make money, all you got to do to make money from that point after you build the following is text me. Send me a DM. I will teach you from there. I'll help you. I want to help.
Shout is definitely going to be there for you guys. Listen, NFL Mike, I want to ask one more thing, and then we're going to wrap up part one here because this is going to be incredible. I can't wait to get into part two with you, but I'm going to ask you this. And I know we've been dancing around it. We've been saying a lot of things, but if you had to say what is one advice that you could give to a new content creator, what would that one thing be? If they said, my gosh, I can only ask you one question, what's the one bit of advice?
My one bit of advice? It'll be a quote from Well, you guys can Google it. It's been on my phone wallpaper forever, but it's a man or woman, but the quote is a man. A man is nothing but a product of their own thoughts.
Mm,
If you believe in yourself, you literally could be whatever you want, especially if you live in America. There you go.
there you go. NFL Mike, cannot wait to get into part 2. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be getting there, and here we go. I'm going to go in and ask some of these next questions here. So the first one is, do you play fantasy football? That's the first question. And if so, what's your favorite way to play? Do you like full PPR, half PPR, standard, or are you even into all that?
I'm a PPR guy. I'll play
PPR
anyway
guy.
though. I'm
Okay.
really into fantasy football. I play every year, like 10 leagues. Actually, I am trying to start my own league. I am starting my own league.
Okay.
We're working with RotoWire on it. I don't want to mess with any of your sponsors here on the channel, but we're working with RotoWire on it, and it's going to be awesome. I've got 8 members in it. If you can make it to California, you got
There
an
we go.
invite. We need 4 more players. Anyone that wants to play. I'm trying to make it mostly content creators, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be an NFL Mike league. I always play in these leagues, but I never
Yeah.
have started one.
That'd be cool, man. Yeah, I'd absolutely love to be a part of it. That sounds awesome. I'm a full PPR guy myself as well.
Yeah.
I think it kind of gets the running backs and also deeper wide receivers just more in the mix because, obviously, as an example, first of all, standard, get that crap out of here. No PPR, get that crap out of here. Half PPR, it's okay, but in my personal opinion, and, it's very mixed on if you're full PPR or half PPR, but the reason I like PPR the most is because, like, let's say you've got those running backs who are normally the running back 2 on the team, but the running back 1 can't catch a pass to save their life. So the RB2 all of a sudden becomes the pass catcher out of the backfield.
Yeah.
That now all of a sudden you've got that
Another
one, right?
element. Yeah, that's your Austin Eckler effect right there. You're
Right.
you're explaining the Austin Eckler effect when him and Melvin Gordon were together.
Mm.
But Austin Eckler was clearly the better fantasy football value.
Right.
You knew
Right.
Melvin Gordon was getting more carries, but Austin was going to get 5 catches and 50 yards and a touchdown receiving
Right.
every week. No, I'm with you 100%. PPR, and man, I've played every type of fantasy football you can think of. I've played in 32-person leagues where we set up the rosters as like I run the Chargers roster. I
Yeah.
played in like giant leagues where like the rosters are extremely huge. You got 2 quarterbacks, 3 quarterbacks, not 3, but 2 quarterbacks. You got to
Yeah.
keep 3 to keep your roster alive.
Yeah.
But you got 2 quarterbacks and then a bunch of receivers, a bunch of running backs. I've played like tiny lineups too, where it's like 1 receiver, 1 running back, 1 quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's it. You got 3 players that
Yeah.
are determining your. The best for me, in my opinion, is that basic set: 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, the flex, just a regular flex, not a super flex.
Yeah.
PPR, and let it go. That
PPR all
base
the way.
set right there, that most PPR leagues play by, that's my favorite. And I've tried to come up with some revolutionary
Yeah.
fantasy leagues. It doesn't click.
Yeah, I love the classic, man. Love the classic. My next
Yeah.
question here, though, kind of moving away from fantasy, going back to just regular NFL. What was your favorite NFL moment growing up?
Oh, there's so many, man, to choose from. I'm a Chargers fan, so I'm obviously gonna pick a Chargers moment. And for my Chargers fans out there, probably my favorite moment would probably be the Darren Sproles touchdown against the Colts to upset Peyton Manning in the playoffs. I was just such a little kid. I'm just really starting to like get into football at that time frame. I'm trying to think. No, not even. I was probably 9 or 10. It's like a deep core memory for me because I was wearing my first jersey, and then the Chargers beat Peyton Manning in the playoffs. They lose the next, or no, they win the next week too. But it just that moment will be set in forever. But my real favorite moment of all time is such a random Chargers game. It was a Chargers versus 49ers game. I forget exactly what year it was. I want to say it was 2013, 2014. Old man Philip Rivers was in there at quarterback for the Chargers. The Chargers go down in this game in the first half big. Like, I think Rivers threw a pick six, then threw another one that was a near pick six, and they just walk in for a touchdown. And this is like prime Niners. This is Jim Harbaugh's Niners that we're going against here. And I'm getting, because my whole family, I should have pre-texted this. My whole family is 49ers fans except for me. I am the one Charger fan in the group, the one that said, you know what, guys, we don't live in Northern California. We live in Southern California. So why are we rooting for the Northern California team? And so when the Chargers were down in that game, I think it was 24-0. I want to say it was bad.
Yeah.
My phone is just blowing up. All my cousins, my dad even. my grandpa, even my uncles, everyone's just like, oh, this is your Chargers. You can come back. We still have your jersey if you want to have, you want to switch. We could
Yeah.
get you a jersey, all this stuff. And then Philip Rivers in the second half just starts chipping away at the lead, chipping away at the lead,
Mm.
chipping away at the lead. And now
Mm.
all of a sudden my phone is dead silent. Absolutely quiet. No
Oh
one
yeah.
is texting me anymore. It's sent into overtime.
Oh yeah.
49ers win the coin toss, get the ball first, but Eric Weddle stripped one of their receivers. I want to say his name was Patton.
Okay.
Their Niners receiver wore number 11. Up the left sideline, Eric Weddle comes in, punches the ball out. Chargers kick the field goal and win, and it's just forever just stamped my Chargers fandom right there. Like,
Yeah.
yes, I should be a Chargers fan. Screw all of you.
Yeah, I love that. Shout out to Darren Sproles too, by the way. He came to the Eagles for a little bit.
Yes.
And I want to ask you this. This was not on the show notes, so this is going to be completely random. But I'm kind of noticing your setup, and one of my favorite basketball players of all time is sitting right behind you. How do you where is Kobe ranked for you? And obviously, this doesn't have to be a legitimate. All the people in the comments, calm down. But like as far as just like love of the game, favorite players, where's Kobe at for you?
Of all sports?
Just basketball. I was, just
number one.
Number
not
one.
Even close.
Okay.
Yeah, not even close. I think, and I always will go for my generation's guys. So I was ahead of the Tom Brady thing. Even before he won 7 Super Bowls, I was calling him the GOAT over Joe Montana. I am going to back LeBron James as the greatest basketball player to walk a basketball court. It's my generation. I grew up watching him. I'm going to back him. But my favorite athlete of all time is Kobe Bryant.
Yes. Yeah, same, man. I loved – growing up, I was, until I probably got into middle school, which around that time was kind of when I started solidifying who I, team-wise, who I was going to root for in the NBA. But growing up, I just really liked players. Like, I didn't have a favorite team. And my favorite player growing up was always Kobe Bryant. Like, I would defend, oh, he's the best. But I also think I was saying he's the best just because he was my favorite. His mentality, he's 5-1 in the NBA championship or in the NBA Finals. Wow, I can't talk. But yeah, I'm with you there as far as like LeBron James is probably the best basketball player of all time. But Kobe Bryant, man, above all, athletes, is my favorite athlete of just all time. I mean, loved him growing up. Was definitely, I remember when he passed away, my one of my best friends, actually my best man at my wedding, he like called me because I didn't know. I was like at work. I had no idea it had happened. This is also too and you've probably got a story like this as well, like anybody who knows how much you loved Kobe.
My story is insane, dude. I'll tell you after.
Well, I'm at work. I have obviously, I don't know anything's happened yet, and this also just speaks to the reach that somebody like I never even met Kobe, but like he was just I idolized him almost growing up. And my best friend calls me. He's like, "Dude, have you seen the news?" I'm like, "No." Tells me that Kobe passed away. I was like you're lying. And then he's like, "No, dude, here." And then he like sends me the screenshot, and I just started like crying. It's so weird. Like there's only a few people that are like when they were famous that died. Like Chris Cornell was one of them. When he passed away, lead singer of Soundgarden and Audioslave. He passed away, I cried. When Kobe passed away, I cried. Not a lot of famous people, they pass away, do I don't know, cry. But man, Kobe, that one got me. But I want to hear your story.
Yeah, I've only cried because of sports a few times in my life, and that's one of them. Last football game, Kobe Bryant, Keenan Allen getting traded. Oh man, tough days for me. But yeah, so that's it's such a deep thing for me because Kobe Bryant is kind of like one of the reasons that I'm so into sports in the first place, and the whole mindset thing. Like I'm really into developing my brain, developing my skills, developing my craft, developing my everything I do. I look at it like a profession, even though I'm kind of fucking around a little bit because of Kobe, and that's how it works. That's how I have gotten here, because there is that element of it to it that I am like practicing something. But yeah, when I found out that Kobe died, I was still stationed overseas. I was actually about to get out of the military, and my leave, what do they call it? Terminal. I'm glad I'm forgetting this stuff. That means it's erasing slowly. Terminal leave. Okay. I was on my terminal leave. Basically, they give you a few weeks to go home first to get everything prepared, so that way when you permanently come home, it's not just like good luck. You know what I mean? You already had like a 2-week time period beforehand. That's where I was going home for that. And literally my flight was at 10 a.m. Japan time. Because of the time difference, at like 2 a.m. Japan time on the same day that I'm flying into LAX. My buddy calls me, same thing. I thought something happened to him. because
Oh,
he
wow.
knows the time difference. He wouldn't call me in the middle of the night like that. And he's like, dude, are you okay? And I'm like, I mean, you're calling me at 2 a.m, so what's wrong? Like, tell me. He just tells me right away. He's like, I want to be the first to tell you. I don't want you to see this from anyone else. Kobe Bryant just died. Just right then and there, I was like, no way. And of course, I confirmed it and then found out and got on my flight right after that. Flew to LA, and there's pictures. I posted them everywhere, but went straight to the memorial outside Staples Center and spent some hours there with people. Was actually a part of like the little like memorial. Sorry, it still hits me because like that was just unbelievable. Felt like I was in a movie for a second there.
Yeah.
For a whole 2 weeks honestly, and then of course a couple days later, when they were about to have the first game since his death, I was there and I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I went into savings and I went and saw LeBron do the reverse windmill in Kobe's honor in person in that first game. So that whole thing is just life changing to me. The person himself, Kobe Bryant, I think is one of the best people to ever walk the planet. And then how he died and all that kind of stuff. It goes to show that life is extremely fragile.
Yes.
And that no matter how talented or how Superman you may think that you are, we're all just one leak, one accident, one spring away from the grave.
That's right.
And I've lived differently because of Kobe Bryant and his death.
Yeah, and that's so true. Life is so fragile. And at any moment, I mean, anything could happen. And I think when something like that happens, whether it's how he died or, any of these other guys, and recently, you have Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne passing away. But,
shocking.
It does just go to show just how fragile and quick, right? Like, it's so fast. And that could be a whole other conversation as well. My goodness, we could go on forever about
That's why everyone needs
life.
to live their lives and chase their passions and chase their dreams and just be okay with the results. Yeah. Don't let yourself be thinking, man, what if I did this? What if I did that when you're on your deathbed, man? Do it now. So that way, when the time comes and death knocks on your door, you're going to have a loaded room at your funeral and everyone's going to be celebrating everything you did and nothing that you didn't do is going to be left on the table.
Right. And, when we were kids, right, you have the do it meme from Shia LaBeouf. And as kids, we're all making fun of him. Just do it. As you get older, it kind of has a different meaning, right? Of like, he was literally trying to tell all of us that no matter what it is you want to do it today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Yesterday you said tomorrow. Yeah. Today you're saying, you know what I mean? Yeah. So just do it. Just do it.
It's either day one or one day.
Yeah.
And I've even added a little bit to that catchphrase that's very popular. I did not come up with that. Day one.
It was The Rock that said that.
Or one day. But also, this could be negative one day. Think about that. If you have bad days, stacking bad, you're going negative. You're going backwards.
Yes.
So that's just the way I look at it. Even with my own wife, I'm trying to convince her to do stuff all the time for herself. Like, screw the employer. Like, he's doing great. You know what I mean? You got to figure out what you want to do and what's going to drive you. What would you do for fun? That's what you should do for a job, in my opinion. That's why I want to do it.
Yes, and I'm with you. And Steve Harvey, I love these quotes. We're just going back and forth right
Steve
here.
Harvey's a GOAT.
Man, legend. Steve Harvey, he was talking about if you think all men are dogs, you're going to find every single one of them. If you think you'll never be rich, I promise you won't. But if you always think, I'm going to get rich, I'm going to be rich, you got a chance. You got a chance. Who's stopping you is only you. Now, obviously, anybody can pick that apart and, well, I'm in this situation. You don't know and no, I don't know the situation you're in. And me and Mike, we both were in the military. So we both obviously went to the military for some reason, right? So there's probably backstories there that could be talked about in another day. But, it's you. It's your mentality. It's what you decide to do. I mean, today, for example, and obviously these podcasts, these interviews on this show, I want to be all about the guests, but I love going back and forth. Today, for example, it's my time. It's already 1:43 my time, and I've spent since 8 o'clock this morning recording on an off day because, until one of these two shows blow up, still got a day job. So on my off day, I'm recording every Monday from about 8 in the morning till about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's just what I got to do, right? And Mike, you had your schedule too before this was a full-time gig for you. I mean, you had your things that you had to do on your off days or early in the mornings before you went in, right after getting out of the Navy. And it's like, these are just the things that people have to do. They got to grind. Again, it goes back to what we were saying earlier in the podcast episode of the secret sauce unless, Josh Benson, I had him on episode 1, he was saying unless you're like super hot or something, the secret sauce is like consistency, right? Just grinding, consistency, and it's you.
And even deeper than that, the secret sauce to being consistent is to root it all in passion. It needs to be rooted in passion because this is going to take an immense amount of work. I'm telling you right now, man, I worked yesterday, Sunday. I was at Cowboys practice on Saturday. I could have packed it in and taken the day off yesterday if I wanted to and start up my stuff today. But I'm going to the Hall of Fame on Thursday. I want to kill that Hall of Fame thing. I can't be doing Cowboys stuff when I'm going to go to the Chargers Hall of Fame game. So instead of taking Sunday off, I put in 12 hours. I got my editing done. I posted my videos. And guess what? In the last 3 days, we've gotten 1.5 million views on those videos.
Congratulations, man.
And it doesn't feel like work to me because it's all passion based. I played football for free for 10 years. I beat myself up. I paid for my pads, right? So I paid to be a part of this game, and now I get to be a part of it for free. And it's why I changed my wallpaper too. The Chargers just went on to a naval ship. I don't know if you saw the post. So I changed my wallpaper, and it's kind of symbolic to me because that was me. I was standing that exact watch that Herbert is sitting at right there, that exact watch station in the past on the bridge. And I put on here so that way I see it. There's future and past versions of yourself begging you to enjoy every moment. Just basically trying to remind myself that it's all started from Pop Warner football. It all goes back to one day at one point, I decided I had the courage to put a helmet on and the courage to go out there and play and the courage to continue talking about football after the career ended. And that's why I'll do it forever.
Yes,
and if you don't have that kind of bravery to just go after your passions, that consistency isn't even possible. I'm telling you, you're just going to get tired. You're going to get burnt out. I've gotten burnt out so many times and just taking one day off and been like, you know what? I feel like I just took a year off. I'm ready to go again.
Yes, exactly. I love that, man. Well, let's transition. Let's just get back here to ball talk here. And speaking of the Chargers, though, because I'm glad you brought that up about some of your favorite moments. What's your 2025 Chargers season prediction? Let me hear it.
So when the schedule first came out, I was like, this is a really rough schedule compared to last year. One, we were traveling the most out of the entire league, and we're going to Brazil week 1, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We got screwed going to Vegas after Brazil, so we got back-to-back road games to start the season and an overseas game. I don't know how that math adds up, NFL, and how you guys even plan that out, but that's the cards we dealt. But going to practice, seeing this team, seeing the depth, looking at like a guy like, for example, everyone's bashing on Quentin Johnston because he's dropped a few passes at practice. He looks like a whole new player, and I don't know, man. I still think they're going to sign Keenan Allen, and he's not even going to be the starter. And then his backup, Trey Harris, looks like he's ready to go right now too. Kind of like similar to the way Ladd looked in practice last year. And then Darius Davis is now getting reps with the ones. Don't tell anyone, by the way. Darius Davis is now getting in the mix, getting reps in the starting lineup like some kind of little Charger Tyreek Hill. I mean, the team and the offense itself just looks unbelievable. With Mekhi Becton there and Joe Alt working together, it is maybe the most stacked offense that I've seen the Chargers have since I came home, since I started covering the team this closely.
Wow.
And I don't know if the Chargers had a better team in 2018, and that team won 12 games, won a playoff game, beat Lamar Jackson in round 1. So I think this is the best team that I've seen in a long time for the Chargers. So I bumped it up. I think 12, 13 wins for Harbaugh here in year 2 is very reasonable because of the offensive depth, which we ran out of last year. Really down the stretch of the season, it became just Ladd. Is Ladd's not open? Oh my God, I hope Will Dissly catches this. I hope Quentin Johnston catches this. But we're not going to need to do that this year. Right. Ladd's going to be able to be used to create mismatches. Basically, I've been telling like Raiders fans, like, good luck, because you could stack the box and try to stop us from running the ball, and then you got to cover Ladd one-on-one.
Yeah.
Or go cover Ladd. That's fine. But then we're going to win. Because we're going to run the ball 30 times. And we have 3 running backs now that can all run the ball. And Nyheim Hines, Omarion Hampton, and Najee Harris, who's working his way back to practice as we speak. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great offense. Now, the question comes on the defense side of the ball, can they replicate what they did last year? A lot of guys got coached up into this scheme, and it clicked very quickly. The good thing is we're bringing all those guys back. Yeah. So hopefully those guys can continue to play at a similar level. They did go younger on the defensive line. So we're taking out Joey Bosa. He was kind of injured anyways. We're putting in Tuli Pelotu, who is going to be now the lead horse, probably the franchise edge rusher is what we're aiming him to be. He's got to put in a full elite season at that spot. I think he can. I have full confidence in him. He's shown the promise. He's just been a super young player behind literal legends, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Bud Dupree, these guys. And
How
then
did you feel losing Joey Bosa? I mean, obviously he was, he's been in with the Chargers his whole career. What was that like for you?
That one wasn't as big a deal. It wasn't as hard for me to, I guess, let go of. I wasn't as big a fan of Joey Bosa as I was like Keenan Allen or Mike Williams and these guys. And there's a bunch of different reasons. But for the team itself, the Chargers are trying to set a new culture in place here where it's like, if one, you don't compete every day at practice, you're cut pretty much. Two, if you're injured and not at practice, you're cut pretty much. And you see the Mike Williams retirement. I think if the Chargers still had Brandon Staley as their head coach, Mike Williams would have rode this season out, knowing that he's injured and he can just coast and get his payday.
Yeah.
Now he knows he's gonna lose his job. He's gonna get cut. Like Harbaugh's not being nice and keeping Mike Williams around. He already got rid of him one time. So it's a different culture, it's a different mindset. And losing Joey Bosa was coming. And this was a part of that shift. We need different leaders too. We need guys that are gonna look around and kind of think like, how can I make a difference in this place? And Bosa, not to his own fault, lots of injuries, lots of bad coaching, lots of bad defensive coaching specifically. He had the poor me going on, man. Like this just keeps happening, man. He's always crying now. Like multiple times saw him tearing up on the sideline, crying. And it's just like, that's just like a heartbroken man. Both sides needed this split. Also, Joey went to a good spot. He went to a good spot where he can get in a pass rush rotation versus trying to be a lead rusher and compete. The Bills can get into the playoffs. I mean, he can stay healthy into the playoffs. He's going to be someone that'll be useful for them late in the season. So hopefully, and Josh Palmer went there as well. There's rumors Asante Samuel Jr. could sign and become a Buffalo Bill soon. That would be great. I could root for the Bills if the Chargers get eliminated like they're the Chargers.
Yeah.
Asante Samuel
Jr. definitely won't be going to the Dolphins. Those comments are wild. But speaking of different teams, different players, that leads me to the last question here. I want to get your full 2025. What is the most way too early NFL prediction that you got? It could be a hot take. It could be an easy take. It could be just about a player, a team. It could be anything. But what's your way too early 2025 NFL prediction?
You want my hottest take? My way too hot take that I need to get on record as many times as I can so everyone can come back and be like, Mike, you're a damn genius.
I want to hear it, man. I want to hear it.
Baker Mayfield will be this year's MVP.
Woo! That is hot take. I think my ears actually just exploded. Speaking of Baker Mayfield, I mean, the Buccaneers, they want to sign him to a franchise, I can't remember what the quote was, but the GM recently stated that they want to make sure, I don't know if it's just throughout the season, at the end of the season, before the season starts, but they want to sign him like long-term to signal that he is the franchise guy. I mean, Baker has done so well with the resurgence to his career, but NFL MVP, that's a spicy take, brother. That's a spicy take.
It's very spicy. It's very spicy. I think what he did last year showed that he can put up the numbers, and it's just going to come down to now, can the Bucs win the division and be in like the race for the number 1 seed? I think with getting Chris Godwin healthy, Godwin showed he can come back from injuries and put in good years still. So I think he's going to be okay, at least. He's not going to be the same. He's not going to be the normal Chris Godwin we're used to, where he's going to have 150 catches this year. Yeah. But I do think that Chris Godwin is still going to contribute. And then Emeka Egbuka, I mean, they have Mike Evans on the team. This guy is going to be a stud, and they're going to need him later in the year for that time that they didn't have him. And, you know, Baker and Mike and Bucky, these guys are trying to carry this thing into the playoffs to win the division. I think that they can keep it together and have more control of this division all year long and have a 13, 14 win team at the end trying to win that 1 seed. And that's going to include Baker Mayfield putting up similar numbers again, 40 plus touchdowns, close to 5,000 total yards. And I think that their defense is better than some of the defenses in their division. So that's kind of what I'm going with, trying to pick a guy that I think can put up the numbers.
Yes, sir.
But also, you know, have the wins and the stacks on it to upset Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen for this award. Baker Mayfield also is hitting the peak of quarterback play. Like he's hitting that age where guys have their best seasons.
Yep.
And we've seen guys have big years in this moments in their careers. He's up for it. It's time. He's in the perfect spot, in the perfect offense. it's going to be good. I think the only thing that worries me is maybe the offensive coordinator change, but I think that can help him too. A little bit more
definitely.
surprises.
And he's in a great division as well. NFC South is typically, wide open year in and year out. I think this year, the Saints aren't going to be anything. The Panthers, maybe Bryce Young, that could be a cool story, but they definitely don't have the team to be threatening. I think the Falcons are the biggest threat to them this year. I'm very excited about the Falcons. But again, it's essentially this is Michael Penix's rookie full season, if you will. I mean, what he had to deal with last year, very Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz-esque storyline of last season with Michael Penix Jr. and Kirk Cousins. So we'll have to see how that goes. But, Mike, cannot thank you enough for being on. Listen, you've got nearly 300,000 followers. NFL Mike, go everywhere, including Facebook. Cannot forget that. What's one thing you want to leave with the audience here today, Mike?
Nothing too crazy. Just like I was saying before, just please, everybody, think about what you love to do, and are you doing it with most of your time? The answer to that is no. I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow. Maybe start making a plan to get more towards that. And it starts with one day. Like we were saying, you gotta build the courage to take one baby step. For me, I started a podcast. It sucked. I worked on that for 2 years, and then eventually we got to where we are. So maybe try that.
Love it, man. Love it. Mike, I can't appreciate you enough for coming on, man. Thank you so much. And
appreciate you too, man.
We'll have you on the regular podcast as well,
Please.
Daily Dynasty Show, and I want to come on to your stuff, brother. But until the next one, man, see you, bro.
Sounds good. Thank you again.